Welcome back to another cube video. My name is Edward, also known as Strategy, and today we are playing my Arena Max cube. So this is a cube that is curated from cards you can craft on Arena. So we do have Arena only cards like this Mardu Thundercat. Sorry, Mardu Thunderkite. So yeah, there's no duels, no power. You can still get power in the form of some cards. I'll point them out if we see them, but for the most part, this is just kind of like a best of Arena cube. So here, if this was Goblin, if this was Goblin Bombardiers, I would snap take it. As it sits, I'm probably leaning on Footastrand here. I just think it keeps us the most open, and if you've been a fan of this channel and been watching me, you know I love my multicolor decks with 10 plus non-basics. So today we're playing an 8-man draft. So we have myself, then Robert, my wife Rebecca, Nick, Ross, then Josh, then Alex, which is one of the head judges for the land run, and then Curtis, who is another contributor to one of the previous land runs. Let's see. They commissioned the very first land run playmat art, actually, which was really neat, and I appreciate Curtis for kicking that off, because now we have Nicola Beeson doing our art. So, okay, let's see here. There's a Hollow Fountain, but that doesn't help our Flooded Strand at all. There's a Jace, but that's kind of old. Ponder is kind of neat. Gale Caller is a new one. Just came out. Basically, you can make Stormcrow Storm, which is pretty cool. I do want to try this one out, but I think I'm just going to take Hollowed Fountain and call it good. It doesn't help our mana base, like I said, necessarily, but Blue-White Flash is a deck I like to draft. So let's just take the premium duels while we can. Okay, so still nothing necessarily bringing me into a specific direction. I kind of am leaning towards Spar's Headquarters or Hedge Maze. Spar's Headquarters because it's another blue-white duel if I want to try to do that. Unfortunately, I don't think Miscalc's going to come around, but Jason's not part of this draft, so maybe. I could also just take Rafine Scheming Seer. I could see that being a thing as well, but this card wheels so often. So I think I'm just going to kind of hope that it wheels again. I guess I could take Unexpectedly Absent, but no, I'll take the Spar's Headquarters. Oh, Fractured Identity, that's a great one. Okay. I do like Spell Snare as well if Fractured Identity wasn't in this pack, but Fractured Identity, just being able to take your opponent's strongest permanent, put it on your side of the board, and say deal with it, is absolutely backbreaking. So we're going to do that one. That was a much faster and easier pick for us. Okay, here's a Vampiric Tutor, and Enduring Innocence is also pretty good. It's a ton of green cards if we want to try to go into Bant. Vampiric Tutor in fair decks doesn't often seem too great to me. We did pick up Aspar's Headquarters, so maybe the Sentinel. Yeah, I like Sentinel. I'll take Sentinel here. Oh, Enduring Curiosity. That goes great in the blue-white flash decks. Also, if we pick up some mana dorks like this Deathrite Shaman, then maybe, you know, we can turn 2 the Sentinel, turn 3 the Enduring Curiosity. There's also Elspeth Stormslayer. I don't hate that, but that'd be 2 5-drops pretty early. Being able to make multiple Sentinel tokens, though, does seem kind of nice, but I'll take the Enduring Curiosity here, I think. Oh, Counterspell, perfect. Oh, there's a Parallax Wave. There's also Learn Revealed in Eagles of the North, but right now our blue-white mana is pretty solid, and I think, you know, these type of effects are a little bit easier to get than actual Counterspell. Keep in mind, I don't think Miscalc's going to come back. There's a Meticulous Archive. There's also an Unable to Scream, which is a great 1-mana, kind of like a blue Swords to Plowshares, in the fact that it just removes your opponent's strong creature basically from the game. Obviously, it's not as good as Swords to Plowshares, but I've seen it do a pretty decent impression of it. I think here, though, I'm just going to take the Meticulous Archive. Soaring City. That's probably what I'll take here. Nothing else here I'm kind of liking. There's Tarmogoyf, but I don't know how quickly we're going to be able to fill the yard to make that relevant. Cards we're looking for now are like Swords to Plowshares, Erode, Path, cheap white removal to go along with some flash threats. Like if the Gale Caller comes back, I think that was this pack. Yes, it was. There's also Chase the Mind Sculptor, Interesting. And Iganjo. I like Iganjo a lot as well. Jace the Mind Sculpt is just not what it once was, and I really want to try out this Gale Caller, so let's take it. I would like to play the Jace in all fairness, but I'm gonna play the Gale Caller and see how that works. Being able to see firsthand how this card works to see if it should stay in the cube or not, I think will be very important. So Robert's been drafting a lot of reanimate stuff lately, so I expect them to continue to stay in black. Hedge Maze was a incredible wheel. I will gladly take that. It means our Sentinel's probably going to stick around. Interesting. Cloud. Well, Curtis is passing to us, and they didn't take it, so maybe Curtis is playing red. We haven't seen a ton of red cards. Sure, I'll try the Cloud. Why not? Razor Verge Thicket, we'll try that. That seems great. Waterlogged Grove, sure, it's in our colors, I suppose, and Eagles of the North. So we want some equipment if we want this Cloud to be playable. But it being double white, I don't know how playable it's going to be moving forward. There's an Ocelot Pride. There's a Scalding Tarn. Tishana's Tidebinder is also nice. We could continue to just have basically perfect mana. The Scalding Tarn being able to get Bant is fantastic. There's also Glimmerlands for Cloud if we want it. Ocelot Pride is another strong choice I could take here. Per usual, I have more lands than spells. There's also a Gobin. Yeah, I'm going to take the Scalding Tarn. Pyrokinesis would be a good one if I were in red. There's the Broadside Bombardiers we talked about. I suspect Curtis is going to draft the Broadside Bombardiers. There's an Agent of Rafine, which I do absolutely love, so I think I'm going to take that. It's also a 1-drop that we currently don't have. Or I could just hate this Broadside Bombardiers and not have to play against it. I'll take the Agent. Interesting. So there's a Saiba Siphoner. This is basically a Snapcaster Mage. If there are no instant or sorcery cards in your hand, it costs blue. And then when it would die, you shuffle it back into your library. I think I'm set on fetches currently. Saiba Siphoner being able to get a counterspell is nice. And currently, you can kind of see, like, the fact that this doesn't have too many targets is kind of annoying, but it does increase the chances of it being able to be cast for 2 is nice. Let's take that. Quantum Riddler is a nice one. So is Retrofitter Foundry. Armageddon could be nice. I do like Quantum Riddler, and I think that's what I'm going to take here. Retrofitter. If I had the Urza, I would be much more interested in it. But yeah, I'll take the Quantum Riddler. I really hope to open like a Force of Will or Force of Negation or something of those lines. Well, there's a Daze and a Preordain. Probably okay with Preordain. I wouldn't mind Daze either. But we're trying to get to, like, you know, bigger casting stuff. So playing Daze isn't the best in my opinion for us. So I'll take the Preordain here. I would absolutely love to be able to find sweepers. Some type of board sweeper. We could take Dismember. We're not in black, but we can basically treat this as a 1-mana snuff out without the swamp condition. There's also Teferi and Malcolm. I already passed a Jace. Malcolm would really help smooth our draws over, though. There's a higher chance that Teferi comes back than Malcolm, but I don't know if Gale Caller came back because people aren't used to it yet, or if people just aren't actually wanting this type of card in, which you could argue Malcolm's very similar. Yeah, I'll try Malcolm. I think Malcolm goes with it. Why is this a pick 7 Chrome Mox? Interesting. I need to see. I told Rebecca, so I made Rebecca a cheat sheet, and I put Chrome Mox at the #1 card on her cheat sheet, and obviously she passed it here. So now I get to go ask her what she took over this Chrome Mox. For the record, Ancient Tomb was second on her cheat sheet, so I wonder if she's just like playing something that's not mono white at all. So yeah, we'll see. Either way, I could take Breeding Pool. I could take this Chrome Mox. Taking this Chrome Mox means no one else gets to play the Chrome Mox. And Curtis would take it. I don't like that. As much as I like Breeding Pool and Lush Portico, I think our mana is good enough. I'm going to take the Chrome Mox. Okay, so now there's an Overlord of Mistmoors if we want that. There's also a support Skyforge. You create 4 1/1 servos. When this vehicle attacks, draft a card from the spell book that perpetually becomes an artifact creature, so you don't have to crew it any longer. There's also Witch Enchanter, which is nice because it's modal, but I'm going to take the support Skyforge. I absolutely love this card and don't get to play with it too much. Okay, very interesting to see what Rebecca is playing, because this is just a ton of white cards coming back our direction. I guess I'll take the Aven Interceptor, or I could take the Glimmerlens, actually. It's another great 2-drop that Cloud can fetch. But I don't have that many 3s. That's actually really tough. I'll take the Aven. I don't like passing this Glimmerlens, but sure, I'll take the Aven. Okay, now there's a Cosmo Grand Zenith and a Mother of Runes that's wheeled. Okay, I'm going to put that Rebecca is not playing white at all, which is very interesting. Just because she's new to Arena Client, so she doesn't have a ton of wilds. I did just draft a bunch for her on the Vintage Cube on Arena, so that she has a ton more wild cards, but... Alright, so yeah, I think Cosmo Grand Zenith into just hopefully casting multiple things at once will do the trick. Overlord and Preacher can be annoying, but Tireless Tracker we can actually play, and we have a ton of fetches to go with it. Armageddon, okay. We will not lose to Armageddon. That seems great. There's a chance, I guess, we play Loot. I just don't think it's very high at this point. And I guess I'll cut the Dark Confidant. Lush Portico on the wheel. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. We still don't have any equipment for the Cloud. Oh, Swords of Plowshares. Great. Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for. Damnation is a type of card we're looking for, but we're nowhere near casting it. I'm not even going to try. We're just going to take the Swords of Plowshares and call it good. Let's see. Control Magic, I am very biased and do love playing. Even though I don't know if it's the greatest or not. Emporium Thopterist is another great way to kind of get a Enduring Curiosity going, because it just basically makes a bunch of 2/2 Thopters if it doesn't die. I think I like that enough to take it here. I don't get to play this card a whole lot either. And Land of War Elves, I do see you, but I think we kind of got off track on the green a little bit, and I'm okay with cutting green entirely if we need to, or just playing these. Oh, Sunfall. Oh, okay, awesome. There's also Erode. Oh, and there's Wrath of God. Why are these all in the same pack? Well, it makes sense of why we weren't seeing them earlier. Stock Up's also here, but... Okay, so the thing between Sunfall and Wrath of God, yes, one is cheaper, but one exiles, which is super relevant, but also creates a token that you can then flip into a creature later. I do think Sunfall is better than Wrath of God more often than not. Our 4s, though, aren't the greatest, and being able to Wrath of God into support Skyforge I think is better than Sunfall and like this on either side. So with that reason, I'm going to take Wrath of God, but I do think Sunfall is the better card overall. Oh, there's a Celestial Colonnade I want to take. There's also a Path to Exile. I want to hope Celestial Colonnade wheels. I don't think people like it as much as I do, so there's a decent chance. Here I'm going to take the Path to Exile. Just keep up with this premium removal. There's an Arid Mesa, which currently gets blue and green if we need it, so that's great. There's also Pest Infestation. I'm not interested in Mana Tithe. I think, so we have currently 21 playables, so we're going to have to make cuts anyways. Let's take the Arid Mesa, because even if I do cut green, Arid Mesa gets basic plains and Hollowed Fountain. Cathar Commando is a nice one. If we took the Narset, Days Undoing would be a decent choice here. Mystical Tutor, what does that do for us? Not much. I guess it finds us a Fractured or a Wrath of God. Obviously Armageddon, I just don't know if I'm going to play Armageddon. That's probably better than these other generic cards, but Cathar Commando can also just be very strong. I think Cathar Commando is a little bit more replaceable than Mystical Tutor. I'll take the Mystical Tutor. I don't know if I'm going to play it, though. Stoneforge Mystic, interesting. There's Dig Through Time and Prismatic Ending. There's Astrologian's Planisphere, but at this point I don't think I'm going to be playing Cloud. There was a Batterskull in the first pack, I want to say. Here I think I'm going to take Dig Through Time. We don't have too much draw. And with all these 1-drops and, you know, a couple counter spells here and there and these fetches, I think Dig Through Time will be decently easy to cast. Cauldron Complete immediately after. That's crazy. Okay, I'll take the Cauldron Complete. Maybe the Stoneforge Mystic wheels, but I doubt it. Okay, Multiversal Passage is probably what we're going to take here. I did recently add Goblin Bombardment into the cube as well, seeing how that's going to go. There's Time Warp. Are we a Time Warp deck? I guess Cyber Siphoner can let us play it. That's probably better than another blue-white tap land, in all honesty. Yeah, I'll take the Time Warp. Sunfall Wield, we'll slam dunk that. And so did the Celestial Colonnade, also great. I'll take the Pest Infestation. I'm just not a huge fan of Reckoner Bankbuster. Cathar Commando Wield, excellent. Ambitious Augmenter, no thanks. Well, at least there's... So no one has a Cloud. Only one person has the Stoneforge Mystic, and I have the Cauldra, so we don't have to worry about that. But there is a Batterskull floating around somewhere, so we'll keep that in mind. The Oklahoma Land Run is fast approaching. Grandmaster Games in Boulder, Colorado will be hosting a legacy trial for the 2026 Oklahoma Land Run. First place will receive a round 1 bye and this year's playmat illustrated by Nicola Beeson. With 16 or more players, there will be a revised scrubland added to the prize support. Don't quite have all the cards you need for your deck? Don't worry, proxies are allowed for this event. Thank you, Tyler and Grandmaster Games, for supporting this year's Oklahoma Land Run. For more information, check the link below in the description. Now let's get back to the video. All right, this is what I ended up settling on. As you can see, the Pest Infestation did make its way to the sideboard. I don't count Cloud and Cauldra as being a thing, so those might as well be blanks along with Dark Confidant and Loot. And Mystical Tutor, I don't think it's really warranted here. If I only had the one sweeper, maybe. But I think the thing I'm going to want a Mystical Tutor for the most by far is going to be a Wrath of God effect. And I have 2 of them already, so I don't think I need the card disadvantage. So everything else kind of slotted in, and that's one of the bonuses to just being able to, draft this many non-basics. I mean, I'm playing 2 basics, and I would say that's a bit extreme, but I constantly play, 4 or less basics, I feel like, in a lot of these decks. Just because I do like being able to cast my spells. I think losing a game of Magic because you can't cast your spells is, in my opinion, the worst feeling in the world, so that's why when you watch me draft, I draft lands pretty highly. And I don't think our deck suffered, honestly, at all. So being able to, get the Swords of Plowshares, the Path to Exile, etc., I think was just absolutely fantastic. The Cosmic Grand Zenith, I think, is probably the weakest card in this deck. Maybe the Time Warp as well, but I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to see. Obviously, Time Warp, if I have a board, like a Time Warp with like a support Skyforge in play, probably game over in a lot of games. But otherwise, it's not, it's not Time Walk. But Cosmic Grand, I just don't know if I'm going to be triggering this much. But I don't think it's worse than anything in my sideboard. So here we are. I could theoretically play, because I'm playing 15 lands plus the Eagles plus the Chrome Mox. So I could theoretically cut it to play another land, but I think 17 mana sources is fine. And I am part of the first basic land cycler is free train, because my argument is that you're seldomly ever going to want to, I'm not going to say never because then I'll get those people that will actually, but you seldomly ever want to keep a 1-lander in your hand anyway. So if Eagles of the North is your only quote-unquote land in that hand, not relevant. However, if it's your second land, then that's still fine, right? Because you have your first land to plane cycling for another land. So I will always count the first one straight up as a land. I don't think I would ever cut like if I have like the second one I could see doing, but if I get a third, I'm not cutting an extra land for it at all, because at that point then you have the higher chances of being able to, have your quote unquote 3 lands in your hand just be your land cyclers, and that's awful. Obviously, I don't think I need to explain that. So I do wish I had a couple more counter spells, like passing on that miscalc pack 1 pick 1 for the Flooded Strand I do think was correct, but not being able to find like a Mana Leak and maybe a Spell Pierce. I think finding a Spell Pierce or a Mana Leak would have just made this deck a little bit better. Obviously we saw the Spell Snare, but we passed it. So either way, one more thing, I guess, the Gale Collar, I'm super excited to try this out. I hope I get to play with it and get to do the thing. I do feel like since Cosmic Grand Zenith isn't going to be as good in this deck, aka I can't cast double spells a whole lot, I do think it's going to make Gale Collar worse. However, being able to prepare this will help turn on the Cosmic Grand Zenith more often, and also just being able to play 1 free Stormcrow a turn, probably still fine. And the fact that it has Flash and Flying obviously makes it infinitely better than if it didn't. So I'm still excited to try this card. You know, not having a Force of Will or a Force of Negation is kind of a bummer, but I think it'll be fine, and I'm excited to see what happens in round 1. I'll see you there. I have a special tournament announcement just for you. Fans of Legacy rejoice. The Wizards Wagon will be hosting a Legacy Winter Duel in St. Louis, Missouri. First place will receive a revised Taiga, while the top 2 finishers will both receive a first-round bye to the 2026 Oklahoma Land Run. These buys do include this year's playmat with art illustrated by the legend Nicola Beeson. This event caps at 24 players, so pause this video right now. Check out the link in the description and go sign up. Then you can come back and finish watching. Shout out to Connor and the Wizards Wagon in St. Louis for supporting the 2026 Oklahoma Land Run. All right, welcome to round 1. We are playing against Ross. We are on the play. This hand is kind of gutsy, but I'm going to try it. Luckily, Arid Mesa can get a blue source end of turn. And then Rage Reverse Thicket means that we can slam an Emporium Thopterist, maybe. Yep, let's play Arid Mesa. Ross leads Forest. All right, let's fetch. Yep, Meticulous Archive. Cosmo Grand Zenith straight to the bin. We want lands. Crumb Mox is like a land. Yeah, I'm just going to jam the Thopterist. If we top deck a land, we can Enduring Curiosity if they don't have a blocker. Lotus Cobra. Interesting. Okay. Hopefully we draw a land here. You know, I'll take a tap land. That's perfectly fine with me. Let's play a Thopter. Ross knows we have it anyways. This is unfortunate. I think what I want to do here is Chrome Mox. So we have Aven Interrupter up and then into Armageddon, which means probably going to get rid of the Enduring Curiosity. Because if we Armageddon, I'm not going to be able to cast the Enduring Curiosity, probably. So here we go. Okay, let's pass. I'm willing to trade if Ross is, which means Ross should probably not block. But I'm okay with Ross blocking. Okay, yep, Ross sniffs it out. We'll pass. Pick 7 Chrome Mox. I cannot believe it. Also, I asked my wife, I was like, what did you and the other 6 players pass over this? And she said she didn't remember, which is normally my, like, if you don't remember, it means it was probably incorrect by default. Obviously, that's not 100% correct, but, or the case, but that's my usual rule of thumb. Yeah, let's Aven Mind Sensor that, and then we will Armageddon probably. And hopefully run away with the game. Oh, Otawara. Let's attack and see if they want to block. Now that we have more pressure. I really hope Ross blocks so I can just Armageddon and not care. Dang. Do I want to play the Otawara? Probably not. Let's just Armageddon here. Get our value while we can. Okay, yeah. Good game. I was going to say, then play Otawara, then we have Gale Caller after that. So, all right. Pest Infestation, I don't think is going to be that great, and everything else seems kind of meh to me. So let's just call that good. I'm sure Ross is like, oh, nice slow roll. But I think from my point of view, you know, Ross is very easily able to go land drop, trigger the snake, and then be able to play their grist. So it wasn't a slam dunk from my perspective. If Ross watches this, you can hear my side of it. All right, Noble Hierarch, that's a very good card. Let's hope to draw a white source. That's a white source. We'll keep it even though it's tapped. We will probably just lead Otawara next turn and leave up Malcolm. Oh. Okay. Interesting. That's very scary. Yeah, I think I just want to get down the white source now. We'll keep the Arid Mesa as well. Finding a Wrath is very important. I am interested in Path to Exiling this Bristly Bill as soon as possible. Fuel Tank Feaster, okay, into Raphellos, gross. Yeah, I really wish we had a... sweeper in our hand already. But I guess we can end-turn Malcolm and Path to Exile this turn. Or this turn cycle, I should say. Yep. What are they playing? Swamp, okay. Puts it on the same one, sure. Going to combat, interesting. I think I will fetch now. And just get the plains. And let's path the Bristly Bill. This can obviously help them cast something large, but they already had... So 6, 7, 8, 9. They already had 9 mana before this. They'll have 10 now. So I guess Ulamog is on the menu. Okay, Haywire Might. That's fine. I kind of like that Ross is playing out all these cards because it means if I can hit Wrath of God here, we probably win. Okay, not Wrath of God, unfortunately. Probably want to play Nameless City this turn. I don't know how much time I'm going to have for Tireless Tracker. And Skyforge makes a bunch of dudes. So let's kick the Tireless Tracker to the curb. Play Sentinel, play Spar's Headquarters. And this way Sunfall is now an out. I could have played Otawara, but then if I, did hit the Sunfall, Spar's Headquarters comes into play tapped. So I think it's worth giving up the map token for this. And this blocks a lot. So now if we can just dodge a large creature from Ross, even if it's like a Primeval Titan, that's not that bad. But any like Titan-esque card, like, okay, that's not that bad currently. Famous last words, of course. But, one of the reasons why I like drafting lands so much is that it prevents other people from landfalling so much. Okay, and they do warp in a Spirited Simulacrum. I doubt Ross attacks here. But we do need to find an answer to this Mossborn Hydra pretty quickly. The good news is that if we draw one of our 2 sweepers, the game is just over. Counterspell. Interesting. Ross does not currently have reach, and I think I'm okay because we have Otawara to bounce. I think I'm okay with just attacking with both. So if Ross wants to get tricky and like double block, triple block, etc., I can bounce something to win the combat. And I doubt Ross just blocks everything here. Okay, yep, Ross takes. Meticulous Archive. Interesting. I really want to play this this Gale Caller, but I don't know if I'm going to have the time. And I have to get rid of something, so let's get rid of the Gale Caller. The Skyforge, the support Skyforge, I think is just going to be very powerful if I can get that down. But I want to hold up the counterspell just in case. So let's play the Meticulous Archive. We're going to bottom anything that doesn't say sweep the board. Yep. And let's see. Yeah, I think we can afford to pump here. This means they only get 1 landfall trigger. We can still block the Mossborn. Straight to the bin. And then let's pump here again. Time Warp. Time Warp I think we can keep. Just because it's going to be more Malcolm triggers and stuff too. Let's hope they don't have a land on top of their deck. Yep, let's counterspell that. It uses our mana pretty efficiently here. Yep. Oh, it doubles the trigger. Okay, so we're under a lot more pressure than I thought we were. Luckily, we have the Otawara next turn. We'll just take the 9, go to 5. Yep, we will time warp. We will attack. Sure. Yep. I do like the extra land, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's just bin it. All right, we're about to be halfway through our deck. We have not. There it is. Awesome. All right, let's do this. So I can actually... I can actually attack and then play the Skyforge and actually just leave up Otawara to bounce the Mossborn Hydra. Let's do that. That seems great. And then if they followed up with something else big, I can then just cast Sunfall if I really need to. We can bend this. Oh, shoot. I'm so dumb. I am so dumb. I obviously meant to... I messed that up big time. Yeah... I really hate that I messed that up. Oh well, let's put a counter on this, I suppose. Maybe we'll hit a land with it. Okay, we did. Cool. And then now we can just pass. We can bounce the Otawara. Or we can bounce the Mossborn with Otawara. Lightning Greaves. Interesting. Let's bounce. Yep. Yep. Let's see if Ross has a land. Of course they have a land. Okay, at least we can block it. Oh, we're actually just dead. I should have Sunfelled. That was bad. Ross, you missed lethal! Ross! Oh, Ross. Why? Alright. Well, I think we're done being cute. Let's just attack. And then we will Sunfall and then follow it up with a support Skyforge. Yeah, Ross and I both messed up that turn. So we're going to play Sunfall. And then we're going to play support Skyforge. And then we're going to put a counter on this, hopefully. Yep, and we'll leave Swords to Plowshares there. Alright, nothing big, please. Vaultborn is kind of a mess. Alright. That's crazy. And they even have the Lightning Greaves. Okay. Sure. Yep. So, I'm just going to have to... Oh, this is so bad for me. Luckily, I have Fractured Identity into Swords to Plowshare, so it's not even that big of a deal. But I think I need to just block... Let's see, how much do I want to block with? This puts me to 1. That's probably fine. I don't see a lot of reach from them. Yeah, I'll go to 1. Alright, let's Fractured this into Swords. And if they have a Questing Beast... I already can't block it, so let's just attack. Lotus Cobra. Okay, that's dealable. Let's flip this. Let's crew with this. Attack. Sure. I was kind of hoping for the bolt one. And I think we're going to pass here so that I can hold up Avon and or a Cathar Commando. I guess I should have equipped the 5/5 with the lightning greaves. Maybe. I could see it either way though, because this way they can't like abrupt decay effect the servo and get in somehow. Okay, if they don't do anything, I will just play the Cathar Commando. My turn. All right, so let's crew again. We will the Cathar Commando in this. Now Ross is forced to block here, and we have an Aven Mind Sensor. Sorry, an Aven Interrupter. So we can. Oh, we can't even interrupt her that. Nice. Sure, that resolves. Good job, Ross. Yes. No findables. Okay, at least we know our deck is gassed. I don't know if I want to play the Hull Drifter here. I think I'll just play the Quantum so I can again leave up the Aven Mind Sensor. Oh, Armageddon? Deal. Good game. Nice. I am proud to announce the 2026 Oklahoma Land Run Weekend, July 10th through the 12th. This event will be held at the Reed Convention Center in Midwest City, Oklahoma. Join me and my vintage family for a weekend of Magic the Gathering events featuring huge prizes and competitive play across multiple formats. Main events include a Vintage, a Legacy, and a Team Trios event including Vintage, Legacy, and Modern. Don't have power? No worries. You can proxy any card currently on the reserve list. This year's artist is none other than the literal legend Nicola Beeson. Beeson will be on site all weekend long and is the designer of this year's playmat. Our game would not have stood the test of time without artists like Nicola Beeson. Please show her some support during the event. In addition to other prizes, the Vintage Champion will receive the original painting of the playmat art, while the Legacy Champion will receive the original sketch of the painting. Side events so far include a High Roller Vintage Cube for Power Thursday evening, at least one old school charity event, a pre-modern challenge also Thursday evening hosted by Game HQ, Duel Commander, and even more to follow. For more information, please use the links in the description to join the Oklahoma Land Run Discord. I'll see you there. Now let's get back to the video. All right, welcome to round 2. We're on the play again, this time against Josh from the TVL, one of the players from the event that my hat talks about. This hand's not the greatest, but I'm going to keep it. I don't really want to go to 6 here, and being able to, turn 4 support Skyforge isn't the worst. Let's Arid Mesa. I can't get Hedge Maze with this, unfortunately, but I'll probably find still getting Meticulous Archive. I definitely want to get a Surveil land. Oh, I have Lush Portico. I forgot. That was a pick 30th overall, I think. Yeah, let's get the Lush Portico. Enduring Curiosity. That's really not a bad one. Sure. I can play it on turn 3. Play this tapped. I have Swords up, and the next turn I have to either pitch Swords if I don't play it, or Armageddon to the Chrome Mox. For those that don't know, you cannot imprint artifacts regardless. So here, let's play the Island. Let's play Chrome Mox. I'm going to pitch the Armageddon, which is sad, but that's the reality we live in. And I'm going to pass. Their deck box did show Orcish Bowmasters on the front, so I suspect that they have one here. Maybe. Okay, they did not. Or they just chose not to play it. One of the things I like to do, I know I don't start the videos until after, but... Oh, stock up. Yeah, I think I'm going to Enduring Curiosity just in case they find a Daze or a Force. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, because it shows when you match up like your deck box art, I like to set mine to Oracle the Alpha, which is also who my avatar is, just so it doesn't give away the information. So for those that care, if you do cube with us, that is a thing that you have to quote unquote worry about. So let's go to combat. Now, Josh could have Damnation here, which would be absolutely brutal. So I think I'm going to play Tireless Tracker into Untapped Multiversal Passage. I don't need it to be green or white. So I guess blue? I guess... We know Rebecca has the Strip Mine. So yeah, let's do blue, untapped. And then that way we can draw a card with Clue. Or do I just want to play Agent of Rafine? I'll just play Agent of Rafine. I can draw a card next turn if they Armageddon. Or if they Damnation, I mean. This way we could also technically draw a card with attacks as well. And this leaves up Swords the Plowshare still. Okay. This not necessarily means that Josh is green, but because this could just be a swamp with Surveil on it. Okay, we did get the Fatal Push out of their hand. That's good. Josh is under a lot of pressure. And I'm not interested in basically playing anything else. Let's attack. So we can play Sentinel if we're willing to play into a Mana Leak, which currently I'm not. And I don't really want to play into a Mana Drain either. I think I am willing to preordain, though, and trying to hit a land so I can keep... Oh, yes. Okay. Let's do this so I can keep pumping the Tireless Tracker, because now this is lethal attacks next turn. Otawara. I don't know if I need an Otawara. Let's pass. Is this a flash creature of some sort? Oh, Consult. That's fine. Yeah, this Chrome Mox is very strong. I'm very glad I was able to turn 3 of this Enduring Curiosity. Okay, they get 1 card because they weren't able to kick it. Leovold. I'm going to fetch now, see if they have the... Let's see if they have the Bowmasters. It looks like they don't. And so now I'm just going to do this again. I said fetch, but I meant crack the clue. If they have the Bowmasters and they were just kind of tricking me, then good for them. Okay. And then this isn't lethal anymore, but... Do we want... Yeah, I can't really make this lethal regardless. I guess I can force the attack and then the Leovold goes away and they take 5. Sure. I don't think there's a reason to use the swords here. I think we should just take it slow. We have Celestial Colonnade that can attack next turn as well. Yep. We're still going to draw a card off the Tireless Tracker because the Leovold's dead. Excellent. Let's play the Colonnade. And then, since we don't have to discard, we have 2 Flash Flyers here. I think I'm okay with just passing the turn. Okay, they did have the miscalc. I'm glad I was playing around it. Sure. Josh probably drawing to a Damnation, of which we will happily let resolve. Ponder also resolves. This is very beautiful art. Okay, by Lutri. Do they have removal? Or are they just making me play it out? Let's play the Gale. Is this a Spell Snare? If it is, it's unfortunate. Okay. Now let's play the Malcolm. We're giving them information we wouldn't otherwise need to, but I'd rather kind of enforce that, you know, this wins us the game, hopefully. Okay. That's unfortunate. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, because it goes to the top of the deck. Or it can go to the top of the deck. I'm going to put it on top of the deck. Let's draw the card now. They could have Bowmasters. That's really bad if they have Bowmasters here. Because they get the Gale Caller. Okay. Alright. Yep, let's go to combat. See what happens. And unfortunately for them, they have to have removal here. Oh, okay, they bounce. Sure. And then that's going to add to the storm count, which is kind of cool. Okay, we'll draw a card. 17 cards left. Well, kind of wish I had a land, but it is what it is. Let's Emporium Thopterist. I don't want to play too much into a Damnation. But I have to discard anyways. Into Sentinel. And I guess I should have just attacked with the Celestial Colonnade as well. But oh well. And then this basically means they have to have Damnation now. All right, we did not see too much. That would make me want Pest Infestation, which is really our only sideboard card. So let's just go to the next game. All right, we're on the draw. We have a couple Surveil lands, so I think this is fine. Hopefully we find an untapped land pretty soon for the Emporium Thopterist. And I definitely value the Meticulous Archive. Okay, well, we're going to keep Celestial Colonnade on top. This is one of the downsides to having so many tap lands in your deck. Okay, Gobin, off to a much better start this time. Let's play the Lush Portico in case we find an untapped land for Tireless Tracker. I still think I probably want to play Emporium Thopterist. Just because I usually want to play Tireless Tracker when I can also play a land. Oh, Ninjutsu. Yeah, that could be a problem. Oh. Well. I could Cosmogrand Zenith, but I don't think that does too much. Let's Emporium Thopterist. I could also leave up Aven Mind Sensor, but I feel like it's way too obvious if I just shock Hollowed Fountain, and they're currently winning the board, so why would they play into anything? Emporium Thopterist, if they don't have Fatal Push here, though, is going to be very brutal for them. I suppose they could also have Orcish Bowmasters, which they do. Okay. Well, if they play Gobin, I don't know. I'm probably supposed to just play Tireless Tracker into Hollowed Fountain, maybe, or Cosmogrand, because Cosmogrand can block the Kaido at least. Does this say deal damage, or... Yeah, they lost life, so... They'd have to attack with everything. Rafine's not the greatest. But what I can do is I can Cosmogrand, see if it resolves. Hopefully it doesn't get dazed. I suspect this is going to get miscalced, but then I can play Agent Rafine. Force of Will. Okay. Agent of Rafine. It would have been really nice to get those 1/1 tokens. Oh, putting stun counters down. Okay. Well, it's definitely putting a lot of pressure on me. Sheoldred. Okay, well, if I draw a land here, I will Sunfall. Oh, well, I guess the same metric applies. I will be taking 3, going to 2. Yeah, Kaido is just absolutely housing me right now. And the fact that it has Hexproof means I can't even... Ooh, okay. So that's just going to be game. To finish my sentence, it means I can't even Swords to Plowshares it. Alright, we'll be on the play this time. At least we know who had the Force of Will. Yeah, Gobin into Kaido. Very strong. At least it wasn't Fallen Shinobi. Obviously, if we had a Swords to Plowshares, then it would have been better that it was Fallen Shinobi, but because we didn't, the Fallen Shinobi, I think, would have been worse. Especially because, like, you know, we Wrath of God there, right? And then they have the Emperor of Bones to get back to Fallen Shinobi and attack us again. So it's kind of the same boat. Also, fancy note, Emperor of Bones, illustrated by Josh Haas, one of the artists for the Oklahoma Landrin. Okay, this is probably keepable. Yep, let's try this. If we were on the draw, it would be a little bit worse. Obviously, we need to find white mana, but our fixing is very good, so we shouldn't have too much problem finding white. That's white mana. Excellent. Let's Eagles, Plane Cycling, probably going to get Meticulous Archive. Play it. Preordain, I don't think I want. So Cyber Siphoner can return it to our hand anyways, you know, if we want it later. Okay, now we have Malcolm and Path Up, or do I just want a Cosmogrand? They don't currently have blue. Let's just play the Cosmogrand. They can't Fatal Push it currently. Yep. That makes sense. I'm glad they didn't have the blue there, because having Miscalc up would have been really great for them. Okay, they'd finally found blue, but it's tapped. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just main phase the Enduring Curiosity. If they have Force of Will, okay. Looks like they don't. Now we get to attack and draw a card. Okay, drew another land. I don't hate that. Next turn we could Cyber Siphoner and Preordain if we want to, but we probably won't. Okay, Shealdred we can path. Now they're going to get another island probably, but you know what? At least we aren't getting absolutely hosed by that. And then what's even nicer is that now we can play Tireless Tracker, make a couple 1/1s, play our land. I probably shouldn't have played the land yet because they were tapped out, but I guess Snuff Out. But if they had Snuff Out, they would have played already. Okay, didn't hit another land anyway, so it didn't matter. All right, now they need Damnation to kind of clean this up. Ponder, okay. And I'm glad that Path of Exile exiles the Shealdred. It means that they can't Emperor of Bones it back. In fact, they can't Emperor of Bones anything currently because there's no... Oh, I guess they could... Okay, they could do the Eagles. Harvester of Misery, okay. That cleans up decently well. I could Cyber Siphoner Path. I don't hate that. Just go white again. Don't Daze or Force of Will me, hopefully. Okay, they did not. Let's attack. Hopefully we hit a land here. Okay, we did. And a Spars. Let's play the Spars. Yeah, just that little hiccup with the blue mana in the first couple of turns, I think, was the difference maker. Because Cosmogrange is just putting so much pressure on Josh currently that they, you know, needed to play this Harvester. Oh, Counterspell. That might be the game. Yeah, let's attack. See what they have. I suspect an Orcish Bowmaster is in my future. It is. Let's hope that we can counterspell this to resolve it. Or let's hope we can counterspell this and resolve it. Looks like no. Good game. Fatal Push. Resolves. All right, that was in fact a game. I'll see you next round. All right, welcome to round 3. This is for all the marbles. We are on the play again, so better lucky than good. We have 2 lands, both untapped. We know Alex is playing red. I think Izzet specifically. And we have Preordained to kind of find our 3rd land. So, yeah, I'm going to keep. And I think I'm going to lead Agent of Rafine. That way I can play Razorverge Thicket next turn and hold up swords. And if they have removal here, it's not the end of the world. Okay. I think this is fine. We can get 1 card off of them before they Pirate Spellbomb us. And I think them spending their 2nd turn to do this is perfectly fine for me. Let's just take their card. I don't suspect that they're going to let us untap. And hopefully we hit a land. If we don't hit a land off of their deck, we can preordain and try to find a land that way. Okay, well, that's annoying. Let's try to find a land. Colonnade and Eagles. I mean, we probably have to keep this, right? So let's do that. Let's play the Colonnade. We will pass. And then next turn we have end of turn Gale if we want. Because I definitely want to cycle Eagles here. And I'm going to get Meticulous Archive, I think. Multiversal Passage. Honestly, that's probably fine. Because next turn I can Galeful and then potentially shock in Multiversal Passage, Sentinel, and then, play some Stormcrows. Following turn, potentially Enduring Curiosity, Swords, and draw a bunch of cards. maybe. Tameo, sure. Let's play this into counter magic. Days? Okay, sure. And they're picking up a land. Interesting. So what does that mean? Let's shock this in. And we'll pass. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, let's... I don't... Swordsing this doesn't seem the greatest, but... Like, if they have an Urza here, I'm going to be pretty upset. Okay, they let the swords happen. Now, they could have a mana leak, but I'm still going to play Enduring Curiosity regardless here. Remand. That's okay. I'm okay with a remand. Armageddon. Oh, it's too bad we didn't get to play Enduring Curiosity there. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, yeah, I guess we just go again. See if they want to play something. They could, if they had a hard counter, they might have played it, but I don't know. Coalition Relic makes the Armageddon not as good. Okay. Resolves. Oh, Cathar Commando. That's nice. This is an instant. Let's attack. See what they want to do about it. If they block, I can make it a 1-1. Excellent. It's too bad I didn't hit a land there. And then I can either play Sentinel or Cathar Commando. I think I'd rather play Sentinel. And then now we have some pressure for Alex. Fiery Islet, okay. Control Magic. We have Cathar Commando for that. Let's attack. See if they have anything. I might play Time Warp first. Maybe I don't want to do that. Let's play Cathar Commando. Okay. Cathar Commando is in. Let's... I guess... put in Accident Prone Apprentice. And then we can let them go to their turn. Oh, no, they could have Tide. Oh, man. They could have the... Well, what's it called? I forget what it's called. The 3-mana stifle effect. Okay. I'm going to do this now to play around that. So now I can turn this off. And it looks like I do want Pest Infestation. They definitely have a few targets. And I do know that they play Urza as well. Sure. We still get to draw cards. Oh, they did have the Tidebinder. Nice. Alright, well now we get to attack. I kind of want an Armageddon here, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see if this resolves. Looks like it did. Let's attack. Sure. And at this point, I think I'm just going to go to my next turn and Armageddon. It either resolves or it doesn't. Excellent. Let's draw some lands, hopefully. It was a land. Let's draw some more lands, hopefully. I don't think we need a Malcolm. Let's attack. Yep, they put a counter on. Map token, and in a couple turns, Alex will hopefully scoop. Okay, they did hit a land. That's huge. For them, of course. Let's pump the Sentinel. Quantum Riddler, no thanks. Hopefully I hit a land with one of these. Come on. I'll keep the Path to Exile, I guess. I don't think it's worth giving away that one, just in case. You never know. Like, a Pyrogoyf here could be kind of annoying. I don't know what the types are, but I doubt it's a 7-8, but still. Yep, so we definitely want Pest Infestation. I mean, Armageddon probably isn't that great against them overall. But then again, neither seems like all these Wrath effects. Let's try it like this. All right, lands and spells. What more can you ask for? Going to leave Meticulous Archive so that I can leave up Scalding Tarn, just in case I need double blue. Okay, they did mulligan once, and they lead with a tapped Steam Vents. We will play Meticulous Archive. Lush Portico. I think that's fine. We have a few big drops in our hand that we want to get to. No play is excellent for us. Still no play is excellent for us. Let's see if they have a play this turn. Goblin Rabblemaster, maybe? Oh, VV. Yep, we will respond to that in kind. I don't need Hollowed Fountain, so let's just get Island. I could see a world where I just Swords the Plowshare that and continue holding up Counterspell, but that uses my mana a little bit more efficiently. Emporium Thopterist is pretty good. I'll keep it on top. Coalition Relic, okay. Let's play Flooded Strand. I could leave up Enduring Curiosity, but I think I'd rather just play the Emporium and kind of sneak out either, you know, a counterspell effect or removal before my Enduring Curiosity goes. Because remember, we did see Chain Lightning, and I'd much rather them Chain Lightning the Thopterist than my Enduring Curiosity. This will probably get Hedge Maze just for a Surveil effect. Okay, they did have the Chain Lightning. That makes me very happy. Now, of course, they couldn't Chain Lightning Curiosity here. That resolves. And we can play around Days, which is nice. Let's Swords that. So it looks like me counterspelling... Oh, Mana Leak. They had the Mana Leak. Interesting. Okay. Odawara is going to go there. Here, I think we're just going to slam a support Skyforge, maybe. See how they feel about that. Oh, they could have a Daze, actually. How do I feel if their last card is Daze? That's fine. If their last card is Daze, they got me. Okay, it was not. I'll probably take 5 here. Oh, just attack with those. If they have removal for the Skyforge, that's fine, honestly. Tishana's. Sure. I consider that a win, honestly. I could just Sunfall here. That's probably fine. Because then I can Skyforge next turn. They should definitely... Oh, Alex, why didn't you crack this for Days? Yep, definitely. I hope they draw Days. No offense to Alex, but I hope they draw Days. Specifically this card that they drew off the Fiery Islet. Okay, there's Mountain. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this just turns it off forever, even though the other thing's gone. For as long as this remains on the battlefield. Oh, because I need to flip this first. Duh. Okay. I guess I can play Quantum Riddler. Warped. And then I can do the Skyforge thing. There we go. Let's attack. See what we get. I mean, yeah, the lifelink one seems pretty good. Let's play Enduring Curiosity into their days. Okay, they didn't draw the days, so the Fiery Islet play didn't matter. We'll draw a card. And then we'll play our land. End turn. And the next turn, we have 12, 16 on board. Technically 20. Yep, good game. That's a clean 3-0. All right, what an exciting draft, a 3-0. We've been stacking up a couple of those lately. So about this deck, the biggest thing I think this deck had going for it is the fact that we just had really premium removal, followed up by being able to just wipe the board with Sunfall, Wrath of God, and to some extent Armageddon when we were already ahead. And then follow that up with, late game bombs like Fractured Identity, support Skyforge. I just absolutely love these cards, and I'm glad I got to show off the support Skyforge. We did get very lucky against Ross in round 1 because they had a Raphelos in play for multiple turns with, 10 plus mana and just could not draw a relevant threat. I thought there for a second that the Vaultborn Tyrant was going to get us with the Lightning Greaves, but, thanks to Fractured Identity and Swords the Plowshares, we were able to sweep that under the rug nice and neatly. I am so happy that Galathul Galecaller was just... we didn't get to see too much of it, but the games we did, it was just so cool. I'm super excited to play more of this card. It was well worth the rare slot, and I'm excited and looking forward to playing with it some more. So, other than that, I think the rest of this deck was just kind of the meat and potatoes of the cube. Cathar Commando did some work. Cosmogrand Zenith, surprisingly, triggered a lot. I did not think that this type of deck, because we're kind of light on cantrips, was going to trigger Cosmogrand Zenith, but, we did. So, I'm also really glad I didn't take the Prismatic Vista when I did, because we ended up on 2 basics, so I probably would have had to cut probably one of these green lands for it, but at that point then I'm having to run a forest, so I don't even know if that's worth it. So either way, I am glad I passed up on that Prismatic Vista in the end. The only sideboard card we used was Pest Infestation, which I could have told you that coming out. There's no way I'm putting in Cloud for Cauldron in this deck regardless. I stand by Mystical Tutor not being played. It's just, again, if I had only a Wrath of God or only a Sunfall, I would probably play it, because having a sweeper in this cube, in my opinion, is just that important. But when I have 2 naturally, I just don't feel the need for this, because I'm not going to want to Mystical Tutor for Armageddon an awful lot. Even when I'm ahead, I feel like I'd rather just take a natural draw. And in the games where, like Josh, for example, or Alex, where they have counter spells, I don't want a Mystical Tutor just for them to miscalc or mana leak me, and then, now I'm down a card, and it's just bad. I don't want to do that. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of these others you might also enjoy. I alternate between playing vintage and powered cubes both on MTGO and MTG Arena. If you like cubing on Arena, but it's too expensive to play as often as you'd like, check out some of my personal MTG Arena cube videos on this channel. If you like it, join us sometime for a draft. We'd love to have you. If I don't see you in Discord first, I'll catch you in my next video.